Iko Nini. So, good morning. Alafu, after nikwambia good morning, wacha nikuambie kitu fulani. You are lied to. These stories are hard work and success. Zinaendanaga. Not in Kenya. Kenya, kuna watu wanaifindigi very easy, especially if the president is your friend. So make sure the president is your friend. Wacha to go through a few headlines. So, kulikuwa na hii headline, ilikuwa kwa NTV. Ilikuwa ni court extends order barring Robert Alai from disputed Runda property. Then ikaendelea, a judge has extended orders barring Kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai from interfering with the property in the Runda area in Nairobi, which belongs to Cancer Investments Limited. The company accused Mr. Alai of invading and taking possession of the property on March 31st. It said all efforts to remove him and other alleged trespassers had been unsuccessful. Alafu, the parties appeared before Justice Mohamed Kullow on Monday, where he extended the order originally issued on May 19th until September 24th, where the case will be heard. So, it's a very simple case. It's a case of, there's an MCA kutoka Kileleshwa, ule anasema na on land ile iko Runda, not Kileleshwa itself. So, I think just KRA tax records inafaa kutuonyesha, like, has this person made enough money to own a place? And it's very sad that, as I said, if you're the president's friend, then you can get away with such stuff. Because ilikuwa ni hard. Ama goons ilibidi waende watole na polisi. Like, there was literally, the police had to go and remove these goons. These goons had gone and taken over the property. And the goons wenyewe kunasemekana, they're working for Robert Alai. Alafu, ngoja kidogo utajua kwa nini nimebongaja the president. Because niko sure nasema, mwafu waga mtiaji, kila kitu lazima baki ameblame Ruto, this has nothing to do with Ruto. But wacha tucheki vile makarao walishia huko. This was on Wednesday.
Hizi mlango za kazi ivunjwe. Peleka taarifa ufungue hiyo mlango. Peleka taarifa.
Wewe,
iko wapi ile nyingine?
Wewe toka wewe.
Hizo milango zibomolewe.
So nza cheki, like, just the amount of cops that had to show up. Machiki makops wanatoka huko kwa fence wakikuja hivi, makops wako na weapons, and this is what it took for this Mukhtar guy to get Alai's goons off his property. And this is scary, and it's scary to me because this can also happen to you. I'll never assume that these things can't happen to you. And the reason why I'm bringing up the president is, for the past few months, I think for the past 1 year, Robert Alai has been one of the biggest supporters of the president. And you have to wonder why. Why is he supporting the president in ways that I'm sure that president mwenye anashinda kwa like, mtu ananisupport sana. But the reason is simple. The reason is simple in the way that these people know that if you support the president, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Kumbuka ile time, Umsa naitwa Gachagua alikuwa mabeste na the president. His 1.5 billion corruption case was dropped. Then you had akina nani. I don't have to go through them. Kuna moja alikuwa na rape case dropped, wengine murder case dropped, wengine corruption cases dropped. So Umse, cheki mpaka na post ma videos akiwa kwa gari, akisema Judiciary hates Ruto. Now connect. The Judiciary, Mohamed Kullow, Justice Mohamed Kullow, aliambia that Alai akitaka freeland abaki ametafuta from his school. So saizi ana jam yuko Judiciary hates Ruto, and he did a whole video about it. But don't forget, this is not about Ruto. This is about that piece of land in Runda. Because even for you, ask yourself, if there was a way you could get a piece of land in Runda and without working hard for it and without working for it, would you take that chance? Most probably you would. So wacha tusikize hii bullshit.
Hey, I wish to submit my views over the emerging character of the judiciary, where the Chief Justice some junior magistrates and judges have decided to weaponize the platform, the judiciary, against the presidency of William Ruto. I've seen a lot of happenings in the court recently, and especially in regards to the arrests and the claimed abductions which are going on. The recent case of Peter Ndiangui, I don't know Ndiangui who, but the young man who just appeared in court today, this morning, after missing for a very long time or for some time. And it is emerging that this young man was having fun with his in-laws.
So it's gay nonsense that the young man was having fun with his in-laws. Nakumbuka kauja watch ile video nilikuwa na analyze your situation back you may cheki. This guy had been abducted, and the only reason he was freed is he promised that he was not going to say that he was abducted. But when you see wase kama hawa wakizusha na wakisupport Ruto, unacheki ni hivyo kwa sababu unajua a Ruto regime can protect you if you grab land from someone. You've seen how big that piece of land in Runda was. Nachiki iko na yard, iko na what, iko na whole, I don't know kama naitaga garden. It's a huge place. Try imagine getting that for free. Other people risk everything just to own haka 50 by 100 in the middle of nowhere. This one you're getting it in Runda for free. Hata ukidecide utaki kuishi hapo, ubaki umeiuza, unzabaki and it's so interesting how life sometimes happens. Because nakumbuka umse wakipatana na Apoko. There was that one time when Apoko alikuwa anasema ati umse amempiga. Na alikuwa hapo nini. Ungeniambia that one day their paths would cross, some of their destinies would cross when it comes to grabbing land. Ningekuwa zile za singeamini. So this is one of those situations whereby if you are a Ruto supporter, you can end up like getting stuff for free. But then there's the rest of us. For the rest of us, there's a reason why unawachi video asubuhi kabisa, because umeamka mapema umeenda kuhustle, si ndio? Si hatuna otherwise, si lazima tufanye kazi. Sawa. Okay. So another person ule ameanza kuwa hero to a few people, but he's literally just a piece of shit. Ni umse wa kutoka wa Munyoro. And the reason why namuita hivyo ni you turn everything into a tribal affair. And I understand sometimes, but kuna ile time unaisukuma sana. So last week kulikuwa na stories za protests za June 25th. Lakini before June 25th kulikuwa na zile protests za June 18th. Kwa hata kabla tubongejwa Munyoro na ujinga yake, acha to go back to June 18th. So June 18th tunakumbuka, June 17th that's tunakumbuka kuna huyu mjinga anaitwa Barasa ulalienda hapa kishoot protester like walishooting Boniface Karaoke. And of course Boniface Karaoke alipass this week. So mafala jana kuna vile walikuwa wamefikishwa kotini and walikuwa wamejifunika kama kawaida. Hizi case za Kenya nashindwa nazo. Kwa nini mhalifu kama huyu, mhalifu wa national interest akuwa amejifunika sura? So nachikio fala, because he's the one on the right, Barasa, the one who actually pulled the trigger. You can see him, amejifunika sura, and I don't like this. These are people we should be able to see. I always look at this and I look at it as a mockery to the whole judicial system, that we should be able to see such clowns, and no, we should be able to identify you. And since when you're doing the crime, you're so proud of yourself and you walked majestically away from the crime scene, at least stand by that. Lakini sasa enda ukula marago jela. Kwenda kabisa. So kulikuwa na hiyo, but sasa wacha to go back to Wamunyoro na DCP. One of the reasons why this party worries me is it's a very tribal party, and it's a party that's based on tribalism, and the leader has decided that tribalism is the only ticket that he can use. So majuzi alipull story fulani ile, the last time nilisoma story kama hii ilikuwa kwa Bible. Hii story nilisomaka kwa Bible. Sijai sikia hii story imehappen in the modern world. So kuna vile Wamunyoro aliamua bado tuko kwa zile siku za Biblia. Wacha tusikize.
Hata sasa niko nje ndio niko na nguvu zaidi ya kukinga hii jamii. Hii maneno imetokea Wednesday. It was a scheme by Kasongo and our traitors here in Nyandarua and in the mountain. In Nairobi, the county government of Nairobi walienda nyumba za Wakikuyu na Waembu na Wameru zote wakaweka X ya green.
Askei nonsense. Rapcha anaishi Nairobi. Yeye anajua anaishi Kiambu, but sikusikia wakisema kitu yote kama hii, walisikia anywhere. And also there has to be at least a single photo of Izima X kwa mlango. And the fact that this guy is supposed to be a national leader and he talks such nonsense, it's very sad. Like unaanzisha like everything, walienda kwa milango za, alafu unachiki specifically amesema za Wakikuyu, Wameru, Waembu wakaeka X. Hizi shops zilikuwa looted, zilikuwa from all tribes. There was no tribe that was special, and this happened because the government, at least one thing we can agree on, it's the government that organized the goons. But to say that the government targeted specific tribes, that's bullshit. The government was just trying to get the public very outraged against protests. Had nothing to do with that, like specific tribes hii ama hii.
Usiku wakora wakaletwa, wakisimamiwa na polisi, wakapora mali yetu ya watu wetu. Hapa Nyandarua hii mambo ilikuwa olokalau. Wakora waliletwa na huyu Mami Mwaganu. Na mjumbe wa hapa huyu anaitwa Kwenya.
Hii place ya Nyandarua na nakubaliana nayo. Nyandarua ni ile place magari ziko zinachomwa tu just for no reason at all. History ya Nairobi na ikataa cause it just goes back to hiyo. Like watu waliibiwa tu, ni watu wetu. Alafu you're supposed to be a national leader. As a national leader, kila mtu ni mtu wako. Check it. So kama kila mtu si mtu wako, you don't deserve any post. And this is the reason why I'll have to agree with Ruto. Msiambie Gaidho. Mkiambia Gaidho nimeagree na Ruto jo. Gaidho ataniletea za ovyo. Staki hizo. Kwa sasa hizi asubuhi hivi staki hiyo story. But na agree na Ruto. Umse deserve a deputy presidency. You can't play this tribal card every minute. And also for us, this is just a reminder that we need to move away from this sort of politics. We need to get a leader who looks at any tribe and feels like it's a Kenyan tribe. We mwenye jiulize, ukikatia, especially kawe ni boy, ukikatia uone dem supu kabisa, ujali anatoka tribe gani? Haujaligi. Why, when it comes to politicians, do you care about? Dem unaangalia, dem ni mzuri, ni msupu, anaweza nisaidia kwa life yangu, tunafikishana mbali, alafu but if you come to politician, you want your same tribe, and it's nonsense. And such people, this okay, acha tusikize huu.
These two are the traitors of our community in Nyandarua. Na jama ilikuwa huyu mama na huyu Kwenya na Kasongo wachome vitu ya watu ya Nyandarua, alafu wawekelee huyu Medho ati wamshike huyu.
So his story ya Nyandarua sijui kama that was the plan. Me, the only thing I was pissed off is that Nairobi story. Don't try to bring tribal connotations to this. Najua. And I don't think when umse anaitwa Sakaja alikuwa na release the goons on us, he cared about the tribe. Kuna Wajaka walirobiwa, kuna Wakikuyu walirobiwa, Waluya, Wamasai, any tribe that ulikuwa out there. Sakaja's goons didn't care. All they cared about was Igwe, tumelinda jiji. Hatujasahau. Sawa Mr. Bullshit. We'll never forget this nonsense. Ngumi ni mbwegze. Okay. Vidole ni mbwegze. Okay. Ekonene. Kama uko US, UK, Canada ama Europe, niko na some good news for you. Na the good news ni nini? The good news ni LemFi. LemFi ukupatiaga the best exchange rates. Na apart from that, LemFi ukupatiaga an opportunity to send like huge amounts of money. Unzabaki send 1 million shillings in one day. That's around $8,000. $16,000 in 1 week. Ama $32,000 in 1 month. That's 4 million shillings. Unzabaki maybe unafanya construction. Unataka kuitufanya haraka and efficiently. Unabaki umetumia LemFi na ni instant transfer. And apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 unapata $20 cashback. Alafu kama umetumia promo code ya EKONENE, si wenyewe tunabaki tumepata $20. Unacheki, unaenda hapo umetusupport kama iko nini, ndio tuendelee kupatia good quality. Cheki vile saizi unazaniona very clearly, sindio? Uzabaki umenicheki na ni courtesy of LemFi. Alafu saa hizi kuna vile LemFi iko on Apple Pay na pia iko on Google Pay. Yes, hiyo ni kimoja imenibamba. Alafu saa hizi pia uzabaki umetransfer directly from your debit card bila kuload wallet yako. So sijui unangoja nini jo? Unangoja nini? Baki umetumia LemFi jo. Because LemFi pia kitu ingine ni kwa nataka kulipa bills hapa Kenya, nataka kulipa through pay bill ama till number, pia uzabaki umetumia LemFi. Like, what can't LemFi do? Yeah? Nini jo LemFi hawezi fanya? Alafu kitu yangu mwisho kabisa, there's a unique feature. Na hii unique feature ni uzabaki umesend money to Kenya ama pia uzabaki umesend money from Kenya. So nangoja nini jo? LemFi, international payments for everyone. Iko Nini, wacha turudi kwa show. Sawa, wacha tucheki nini tena. Tukibonga joufa la vidole ni mbwegze. Kulikuwa na hii story, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is facing an impeachment petition filed by former Korogosho MCA Maxwell Achar. The petition cites gross violations of the constitution, abuse of office and misconduct. So yes, umse unakumbuka pia alikuwa amelose case fulani ili alitry ku block Nation from publishing stuff that he claims are defamatory. But there is nothing defamatory. These goons were walking around, and as they walked around they were praising him. Nacheki. So hakuna vile unaweza come wanza kuclaim that they were not your goons. They were your goons. And they were around City Hall, walking around with rungus. The average Kenyan can't walk around with a weapon in the middle of town. Hata even on a random day when there are no protests. Takuwa police, unaenda happy. But because watu walikuwa huyo. But sasa now what I found interesting was the fact that like kuna mtu ule ni a former MCA anatry ku impeach mse. Because this I found to be interesting because there was another one ile nicheki kwa Nairobi Law Monthly. Ilikuwa ni petition filed to impeach CS Murkomen over shoot to kill remarks. Alafu iko imeandikwa a coalition of civil society organizations including the Katiba Institute, Kenyan Human Rights Commission and the Independent Medical Legal Unit IMLU has filed a petition seeking the impeachment of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. The petition lodged on 2nd July 2025 accuses Murkomen of making inflammatory remarks that allegedly encouraged excessive police force during recent protests, violating the constitutional rights and undermining public safety. So kulikuwa na hiyo. So that's another impeachment that's been lodged but not by MCAs. Do I know how that works? That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to now, sitting with another lawyer and getting that explained to me, because I didn't know that could happen. But still tukistick na history ya Murkomen, kuna vile umse mwingine anaitwa nani? Umse anaitwa Itumbi. Itumbi alikuwa maside za Britain. Yes, huko London alikuwa ameenda the president and he was put on the spot. He was being asked about history ya shoot to kill. And he tried to explain it and talking about how Nani is a lawyer, Murkomen. I don't think people like akina Murkomen care about the law. Najua hii story is Joe, you're the lawyer, you're a lawyer. When we look at you and we see you living all this lavish life, wearing $2,000 shoes and expensive watches, and every time when you are taking care of the time ilikuwa ni roads ama ni ile time every figure used to start with 7. We are going to need 700 million. We are going to need 700. Repair roof ilikuwa 700 million. Repair expressway ilikuwa 700 million. During that time we are there questioning like, why all these 700? These numbers are not adding up. So when I think of Murkomen, I don't think of I don't think of someone who like upholds the law and thinks about the law kabisa. But ubuda anaitwa nani? Itumbi alikuwa huko kwa nini, alafu akabaki ameulizwa hizo shootings and he tried to justify. And what's sad about this is in any other situation, like in a civilized society, acha nitumie hiyo term, civilized society, when the police are sent to the streets, they are given a million reasons not to harm anyone, not to shoot anyone. In Kenya, the interior CS and the head of what the fuck Itumbi are here trying to give the police reasons to kill people. And then you know what they'll do? On Sunday you'll meet them and on Sunday they are going to give you some money. And whose job are they doing when they are going out in the streets and trying to kill people, so as to silence people? Whose job are they doing? The job of William Samoei Ruto. And kitu interesting is Samoei Ruto majuzi alicontribute ni 2 million to the Ojwang family. Africa wanasemekana this week contribute 1 million to Boniface Karaoke's family. And I think hajui that these families would rather have their kids than have the kids dead because they are brutalized by the police. The police who work under the executive. All this nonsense, or the police are independent, is nonsense. Otherwise hatungekuwa tunasikia zile yes sir za Murkomen akiongea na makarao. But wacha tusikize vile umse alijitetea. So wacha tucheki hii video.
Our Kenyan law allows police to defend themselves in certain circumstances. I mean, you're living in London. You remember the Manchester bombings here. What would you want even the police in London to engage terrorists to come to London?
So nasikia umse ana-relate protesters na terrorists. Anabaki amesema the Manchester bombings, I think zile happened again. Ilikuwa ni 77 in some year in Britain. Ana-relate that to protesters. Sikia hiyo, the Manchester bombings. These are literally terrorists who are being like compared with protesters. Okay.
Yeah? When terrorists came to Westgate, what would have been the outcome of people who are shooting Kenyans there? Is to shoot them there. So there's actually a right way to shoot to kill people.
Masikia hiyo. So Westgate, kumbuka, kwa real terrorists. Shoot to kill, of course, because walikuwa hapo kidedisha wase. Alafu mse anasema ana-relate na protesters. Remember, like, even when you think about all the deaths that has happened so far around protests, there's not been a single death ya karao ile imetoka from protesters. That means that the protesters have not had any weapons. They've just been there carrying their placards. The placards, that's why ukionata when they're coming up with a new demonstration bill and they want to even change what's being written on placards, that shows you how fragile our president is. This guy is so fragile. Mi nasemaga kuna fala fulani na mza mtafuta kwa comments hako sagi anitakuwa James Kinyo, na James Kinyo anafanya kazi mob mzuri kushinda some of you because he always comments. Please comment, nipatie ka comment hapo. So I'm saying commenting every day and it's all insults, and I always look at him and I'm like damn, this is such a loser. But I leave it at that. A president decides that since Osona Tembiana placards and the placards hurt his feelings, now we are supposed to change the constitution so that we safeguard his feelings. This is a whole president. Damn, watu ni fragile. But umecheki, umse anawakwa gava and he's looking for every reason to justify police violence. Like every reason. Let me compare them with the Manchester bombings. Then you go like, damn, the average Kenyan does not understand the Manchester bombings. You know what they understand? Westgate. Let me compare now to Westgate. Yes. These people with their placards saying Ruto must go, they're terrorists. Yeah.
He threatened the life of others. The CS Murkomen, he's a lawyer, and he did not in any way, even in the full clip of that, he basically said anyone who comes to steal a gun in a police station deserves nothing else but a full legal force. And that is
history ya kusteal guns kwa police station ilikuwa nonsense. Nilicheki kuna kitu moja ile uboy anaitwa fanya mambo Kinodhia alibaki alisema that according to yeye kuna mtu anaweza approach police station unless they've been assured of their safety. So even if this nonsense happened where protesters stole guns, then it's the government that organized that. But anyone who believes that nonsense, just because people are being arraigned in court and you're being told that guns were stolen, hiyo ni story. If guns were stolen, kuna a certain amount of gun violence lingetoka from that. The fact haikutoka, it means hizi ni stories. Hizi ni zile stories za jaba.
And that is provided by the law. If you did not say that take guns and go to the streets and shoot protesters who are.
But that's what we've seen.
No,
some of the police officers doing. That's what we have seen. That's the problem. Yeah, case. He was just.
And the guy I'm just telling you about,
yeah,
from Kenyan, and who was married to A.
Yeah.
The police just shoot.
Yeah, so, and the guy who was selling masks. You remember the guy who was selling? Yes, the guy who was selling, and the police just came in, looked at those. Those are not good police officers.
I'm saying about that police escalating thing I've just explained to you.
Yes, yeah.
I agree with you guys that sometimes there are some few elements who become wrong.
Do you agree that we should sort out our police service with police who are rogue police officers that do not? Do you think that? Yeah.
So ntikivilo mse alikuwa hapo akitrai kujustify vile watatumia like all that force. Mi kile mujuaga na hii story, human life inakuwaga so precious that if you're a leader of a country, you should always think of how to preserve life. And this is the difference. This is the difference between sisi na hizi countries zimeendelea. Hizi countries zimeendelea, human life is so respected that ituka a bus accident that kills more than itakuwa ni 3 people and ni public transport. Utacheki the president wa hiyo place atabaki amecomment yuko like, oh, tunawish families hizo nini. Sisi basi itaanguka iwe watu 60 and Ruto won't talk about it. And not just Ruto, Uhuru won't talk about it, Kibaki won't talk about it, Moi won't talk about it. It starts with such small things where you respect human life so much that if anything happens that was avoidable, you have to come out and talk about it. So I think hata ile story ya Russia, if I'm not wrong, Maswali sema that the president didn't talk about it yet. I don't know for how long. I don't remember. He'll call last year. So I'll be lying to say that I remember if he talked about it. But this is the situation that we have. So we have these people, first of all, going to London and sleeping in lavish hotels, courtesy of the taxpayer, and then planning on how to execute Kenyans. So as Sabasaba approaches, watu watanishindwa like kwa nini siko pro Sabasaba? Because I know what is going to come. Inaenda kwa tu ni death. And I don't know, is that what we want? Is just to feed the beast? Because the beast enjoys blood. Hiyo ni kitu moja ile tumecheki. So should we just keep doing that? So that's why ukiniuliza kama Sabasaba inafaa kuwa hapa nitakuwa like I think we need to start focusing more on 2027, and apart from that we need to start focusing more on civic education and educating our mothers, educating our parents, and telling them, yes, if a Didmas Barasa shows up with unga, yes, take his unga, but on that day of voting, don't vote for him. If he shows up with what, take, lakini siku ya kuvote, vote ni yako, usikatae, usimwambie ni mjinga, kuwa tu nini, chukua pesa yake, but ile time ya kwenda kuvote, baki umevote yule mtu atakusaidia huko mbele. So that would be like my 2 cents ikikam to your story. But yes, so umecheki vile nimesema ikikam to stories za success, usisahau jo, kuna vile being the president's friend ni kitu poa sana. That's why unachigia su utetiaga president. Kusata tukimalizia acha tumalizia na Kabuda kuna waswali enda po wameshikanisha sauti yake na whatever kuza alikuwa amekula moto sana na history ya cousin. Amekula moto. Ni buda mgani na bongaji yake? Mokawa Ruto.
Anafika anasema hi God have mercy upon us. Mulisikia nyai cousin? Ati hi cousin. Ukifika Ukambani nyai cousin.
Damn man. Kimani Ichung'wah, Mokawa Ruto. Iko Nini.